Dr. Linda here. I was just thinking the other day, I had a neighbor. When I moved in here, there was a lady living next door, and she had the most beautiful garden, beautiful flowers. And the first day I moved in, the first thing she asked me was, did I mind if she planted my section in front of my house? And I told her, of course, why not? Because I am not the flower type, okay? If it's got to be planted every year, it won't get planted. So she said, okay. Well, there was a tree out in the middle of the flower garden in front of my house. It was a crabapple tree. And that tree, I loved that tree because I had two cats. And they would come up into the office here and sit in that window. The tree was right outside the window behind me. And they would play and look and chirp, make those little chirping sounds at the birds out there. And I used to love it because I would say that their friends came to visit them. They would have play dates with the birds, that kind of thing. Also, every spring, a mourning dove would nest there. So I loved that tree. Well, Phyllis couldn't stand that tree. Now, I'm not mad at her because the truth of the matter was that every year at the end of the year, that thing dropped crab apples on the sidewalk in the parking lot. And the maintenance would never pick them up. So they would sit out there and they'd get squashed and ugly. And she was constantly trying to clean them up. And then the leaves from the tree were getting to be a pain in the rump. So I get it. But I love that tree. And she complained every year about that tree. She complained to maintenance about that tree. She complained to me about that tree. But here's the twist on that. Her flowers were gorgeous because she would be feeding them. She would open up the holes and put that flower food on the thing. And she'd be just watering it. They'd be coming up beautiful. And every year she's watering that tree, feeding that tree, fertilizing that tree, and complaining about it the whole darn time. So it was just strange to me. I had to think about that. Now, she's feeding the very thing that's irritating her. She's complaining about the very thing that's irritating her. Well, isn't that what we do in our lives? There are certain things that are a pain in the rump to us. It's like, if you got a pain or something that you dealt with for years, it's not incapacitating. It gets to be aggravating, but you don't go to the doctor because, hey, it's just a pain that I have. And it might be masking something deeper. Or you ever have kids, when you have children, sometimes you get in the habit of tuning that noise out because you're focusing on something else. But then down the line, you recognize that there's just little in the background just aggravating you, but you're trying to ignore it. Well, those are called tolerations. And sometimes just by virtue of the fact that we are ignoring the little things that are bugging us in our lives, we're not recognizing what a stressor that is. Now, all Phyllis had to do, besides complaining, is stop feeding the doggone tree. Okay? You complained about it, you're feeding the tree. Of course it's gonna bloom more and more every year. Every year it's growing more and more crab apples because it's benefiting from what you're watering around it. Well, I've got a tool I want you to use. It's a worksheet. What are you tolerating? And we focus on the big stressors in our lives without understanding that by virtue of ignoring the little things, we're feeding the very stress that's trying to take us out, that's keeping us sick, that's keeping us aggravated, keeping us taking pills, keeping us with a headache, migraine, whatever it is, whatever way your body expresses that stress. When we don't deal with the tolerations, then we are not dealing with the stressors. They're very stressful on us, just as maybe something major in our life, something that we can't ignore. Like the boss keeps piling on new duties and you can't get the duties you're supposed to do done because they're piling them on. So just click the link below and get your tolerations worksheet and see if that helps you to identify some of the little stressors, the little things you've been ignoring, and the little things you've been tolerating. Because I think that if we can deal with those little things, then it'll make our life a lot easier. I'm Dr. Linda Williams, and remember, your greatest power is realized in the truth of who you are. Know that truth.